Hi everyone, thanks for watching. In this video I thought it would be time to show you another chapter of my France journal from this summer, as I still haven't showed you yet. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, turn on the notification bell so you won't miss a thing, and it would be nice if you haven't subscribed already, if you do, and it really supports us when you write down a comment. So I thought we were here in showing you the journal. This is the page I definitely show you that is also a tutorial, but I added something to the page as I thought it would be nice. This was my inspiration for this page that I worked on while making a video. So I added the piece of wallpaper, and it's something you can get at the hardware store to check out if this wallpaper fits in your living room. And I always do something that, that it's connecting with the back side of it too. So that's something that I wanted to show you. And continuing in the same color palette, I have this dream landscape. And it's kind of a landscape that came up from within. Normally I work from a landscape that I see, or I just take a picture. But this day I felt like I wanted to make something new, something that I see when I close my eyes. And this was what came out, and I wanted to have a very spacious landscape with little mountains in the distance. And I didn't want to add too many things like houses and trees. I just wanted to have a river, and I wanted to have flowers in it. And on the next page, I actually wrote down a poem, and it belongs to this landscape, not to this one, a little bit to that one, but I will read the poem for you. I haven't put a house in it yet. This landscape needs space to flow through, and I want a river. Give me water nearby so that I can always swim and always feel surrounded by the water, and that I can always get lost in it. And oh yes, give me flowers and trees, just a few here and there, and then a forest where you could walk for hours with a green meadow every now and then, and cows and hay and the smell of freshly cut grass. It doesn't have to be difficult. I'll just walk next to you, uncomplicated. Everything is fine. We're going to Le Crêperie, and we eat the most delicious pancakes ever. I'm alive. This spread I also created in Saint-Georges, Nigremont, and that was a place we've been visiting already for a couple of times, and there was a little pancake house, pancake restaurant, a crêperie, and we haven't been there yet because it was closed all the time, and now it was finally open, and we wanted to try the pancakes, and it turned out to be so delicious that we've been there 3 times and ate pancakes twice, and it was so nice to be there. And the town is also very nice. It's just existing, well, there are, I think, 4 houses, 1 church, and nothing else. There was a kind of exhibition from someone who created carpets. That was also very nice. I think I have the flyer still in my book, and it was really wonderful. So we visited the exhibition. We also did a nice walk in partly the forest, partly meadows, and well, there was no river, but it was a bit like this. My intention was set, and I just saw, well, some things of my poem coming out, so that was very nice. And this part of this left page is actually from a box of wine, white wine, and the wine that I always took was out of stock, so I had to choose another one, and I don't know much about wine, so I just go and search for a nice package. And this one really spoke to me. I was really mesmerized by this girl walking nearby the sea. It looks like she is in the south of France or maybe Italy, or well, it's very summery image, and I didn't want to do so much on it. I just wanted to edit and go along with the page and checking out if I can create the same colors, if I can mix the same colors, and I think it's a nice blend. And on the right page, I just added some things that I found along the way. So I think these are all from bread bags, the grain, and this is also grain. And it's the same color as her arms. And this was just a piece of paint because I wanted to return the pink here as well. And the poem I put in, but it went a little wrong because you can see there are little folds in it. And what I always try to do, and I think in this case the paper was too thick or I was just too fast with gluing it down. But what I normally do is put glue on the back of a paper, then I lay it down on the place where I want to have it, and then I gently push, wipe from the inside out like this. And I go on with that. I continue wiping until all the folds and bubbles are out. But it's a little hard when working on this canvas page, and even because on the back there are more glued down items, so it's a bit hard to work on this, but it's also a good way to censor yourself and you can't read the full text. I really had issues reading it again, so I typed it and now I can read it properly, but this text, it's also paint over it and the folds, it makes it hard to read, and I think that's a good thing, but I thought it would be nice to share the poem with you. I also did some sewing with little ropes, little threads that I found. So here is the end, and on the back you can also see the sewing again. And on this page I wanted to tune into a calmer color palette, so I still continue using the colors that I had on this page, but I wanted to go into the powder blue and a little brown, a grayish blue. I think this is the Payne's gray, and I think this is burnt umber or pale umber. And the portrait was just coming up, and I love that. When that happens, I just go on, whether it's my portrait book or not. And I also added the open and close thing that came from the wine box. And you can open it and then there's another text. Je suis un troubadour. I am a troubadour. And there's also, well, I think this is from a restaurant we've been to on my birthday, and this is an artichoke. I really had trouble with finding a nice place to put it in because it's kind of thick, and that's maybe why this is damaged too. But it's really matching this page, but it's quite thick. And I had two of those, but I couldn't find the other one, so I just left it by one. And there's a dried flower that I found somewhere. And on the right page, I put down some patterns, some pieces of nice paper. This is fabric, I think. And here, there was just something on a baby towel or kitchen towel. I think this is a baby towel. I always clean my brushes with those towels, and It's a very good way when you're traveling. You don't have to use a lot of water. You don't leave a lot of paint in nature or in the water system. So it's a very good thing. And there are often happy accidents happening. So these kind of flower shapes were appearing on this baby towel, and I thought this is a nice start of this page. And I think this and the portrait were the things I started with, and then I continued working on it later on. Then we have another page in which I added something that that it's a complete thing already, just like the wine package. This is something that I thought it would be so nice, and as this is a travel journal, I allow myself that more than doing my own journals, because I think I always have to do something. I have to create something new out of something old, and I'd almost never use complete things. But this one, I thought it was very special. I bought it at the flea market. It's, I think it's an old shed with a barn with goat cheese. And we found goat cheese a lot of times. There is so much goat cheese and it's delicious. So I made a kind of door, and on the back it's a written card, and you often can buy these things at flea markets in France, and sometimes they're very old. This one, I think it's from the 70s or something. I don't know where I saw that, but somewhere there must be a date on it. But it's a French text, and I didn't want to put something from myself in it because it was really nice to use it as a whole. I only added a piece of lace here. And on this page I wanted to keep it very calm, in a calm color palette, just like here, but turning a bit into ochre instead of the powder blue. And the ochre means that there's always a net. I think this is from the onions. And this is a piece of fabric. And there's another text. And that text goes like this. I wrote it down in Dutch, but I translated it in English. The art is not to cover up, not even with art, not to hide behind a false identity. It can only be real and pure. The art is to show your true face and to be completely honest in your art and your whole life. And this is the true face that's showing up. And when you open this one, there's another text. And that's in Dutch as well. But it's a poem by Mary Austin. Man is not himself only, he is all that he sees, all that flows to him from 1,000 sources. He is the land, the lift of its mountain lines, the reach of its valleys. Also here I have added a thread because I thought there could be a bit more black in the page, and this is a color swatch that you can get at the hardware store as well, and that's the Harbor of Home Harbor. The colors are always very strange names, but I select those on color and then I see the word, and sometimes it's just matching everything that I've done before, so I thought this would be a nice one, and I added some patterns on it. So you see that throughout the book, when I started with the book, there were a lot of travel impressions, but later on it goes more in an abstract way, and I use items that I found along the road, but I go more inwards and listen to what comes up. And on this page, there's another thing I bought at the flea market that I put in as a whole because I really loved it. It's a menu from a party from a First Communion. So a kid. And this is the menu, and it's a lovely handwriting. I will turn the book around so you can see the handwriting. And this is so nice that I didn't want to harm and I didn't want to do something else with it. And this is the back. And I also wanted it to be fully visible. I didn't want to glue it down on the back because then I would miss this image or I would miss something out of the menu. So this is what they have on the menu. Dinner. I don't know from which year it is, but looking at the image, I think it is quite old. And underneath, oh, here's a little tea bag from the yogi tea. And grace is not measurable by time and space. And then I have another song. And I already glued that down when I created this tree. And there's a song that I wrote, a part of a song, face in a tree. What is it you'd like to tell me? Close your eyes, with your heart, it's possible to see. And it's very nice because I see often trees with faces. I see faces everywhere, but I see them a lot in trees. And this is the tree at Annemarie's house. And it's a walnut tree. It's a really wonderful one. And I wanted to give it a little door, a heart door. We're having a walk those days, and I walked and I saw hearts everywhere. Just like I see faces everywhere, I saw hearts everywhere. Even in this little rose leaf, rose petal, I saw hearts. And in doors, in windows, in doorbells, in everything I saw hearts. So I thought it would be nice to make a little cutout and see something like a heart stone here. And this cutout window or door is just working one way. So it's not working the other way around, because when you open it here, there's just nothing in the middle of a sunflower field. So this is just a wonderful page, I think. Maybe I want to do something more with hearts, but I don't know yet. But for now, I really love it. Sometimes I continue working on a page a couple of weeks later when I feel like, well, maybe I find another heart thing and then I put it next to the tree. And this is a little heart. That's a Dutch word, hartje. And this actually is an old t-shirt from Anthony. I used that one before. And it's a very nice thing. It's, it's fraying and there are holes in it. So, and then the color is very neutral, very nice. I used it also a bit for the background as a kind of guideline. And well, you already saw a glimpse of the next page. And this is actually a landscape again that I saw when we had a walk. This was a lovely place we visited, and we were walking to the bakery, and I thought this would be wonderful to add to my book, because we've already seen poppy fields, and where are those? We saw lots of lavender fields. And then I didn't expect to see sunflower fields. I thought they were there earlier in summer, and this was already the end of August or half August. So, and I was very surprised by those. So I wanted to paint them in this art journal, and I really wanted to work on perspective and leading lines and faraway things in the distance. So I think it's great to work on this. And you see that I used the sky color also at some points between the fields. So it's continuing. Oh, I see, it's not a heartstone, it's a butterfly. So it's a butterfly in the tree. Going to the next page, which is another more abstract one. And I used some sketches that I created in my little ID book that I always have with me to write down some ideas or songs or do some small sketches. So these flowers, and this was Anthony, and he was well, I dried a poppy petal in my book, and then on the other page there were just some, well, some vague suggestions of a face, and I saw Anthony's face in it, so I I drew them in the book, and I also added a piece of fabric with nice colors matching these colors as well. And I repeated the patterns a bit along the page. And I also wanted to add a heart pattern that I actually wanted to have here, but I thought it would be a bit too busy there, so I added it here. And I also had another bread bag with Antoine, which is Anthony's French name, Moulin Antoine, the mill of Anthony. This was also a very abstract page based on and inspired by the card of Nicole Guillain. And she was an artist that we visited, and she is an artist who works with watercolor paint and enamel. And it looks like this, and it's really wonderful. And she also used a lava stone around it. And when we were doing the walk with the sunflowers, we discovered many people bought little boards or numbers for their houses with her art in it. So it was very, very, very nice to see. And she has a lovely studio as well. Her house is at a little watermill, and where she gains her own electricity, and she has a lovely studio and a kind of gallery that you could visit, and it was a free spot for motorhomes, and so we were there for 2 nights. And this page, I thought it would be nice to dedicate it to her and her colors that she used in her card. I also added jus de rêve. There it is again, the word rêve, which means dream in French. It's recurring in the art journal as we were having the retreat at a place called Rêve. And these were all things about Rêve. And here I can show you the start of the Rêve adventure. That place was called Rêve. So it's very nice that it's returning, that it's continuing here. And in a juice, I also love the woman here. And there's a little text. I do not know much. I learn every day from the peaks and downs and the boring in between. So the only figurative thing on this page is this woman, and this is a jelly print from a fig leaf. These 3 pages I've been creating at another place, which was on the top of a hill. It was a very warm day, and we thought it would be nice to stay close by the water to have a swim, but it was crowded everywhere. It was a Sunday, so we escaped to the high mountain with just this chapel, and Pearl wanted to go outside too because it was so hot in the camper, And I wanted to have this image in my book because this was a very nice place. We were not alone. There were, on both nights we stayed there, there were families with children, but it was just okay because it was a very large place, a large mountain, and everybody has his own spot. So it was a very nice place. We also created a video in this place. So if you wait until the end, in the end screen, I put down the video that we recorded here. It's about the lavender fields. And the final page that I want to share with you today is the view that we had at the duck farm. And the duck farm was also a place that we visited already a couple of times, but it's such a nice place and the owners are very kind. So this time we wanted to see the ducks as well. But what I also want to show you are these two little paintings. So these ones I created last year when just before the thunder came, and you could place them both ways, like this or the other way. So this one was a bit of fantasy. There were no blue flowers like this. This is all grain fields. And here behind, well, last year it wasn't, but this year there were sunflower fields, but they were in the distance, so I haven't painted them in my book. Also because I already had sunflowers, but they were around here, this place. And I did a nice walk. We had lovely food, of course, the duck. Sorry for the vegetarian people, but it was really a nice spot. And I created some more pages when we were in this place. So if you want to hear those stories, and well, make sure you watch the next video. And if you want to see more of our friends' adventures, please look at the other videos that we created along the way. So then you can see the full book and all the adventures. We also have a travel channel, which is called Brave Art Journey. And you could follow all our travel adventures there. It's less painting, it's more from us. This year we haven't worked on that channel, but there are some lovely videos on the channel as well. So that's it for this week. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next video, which will be a tutorial, or it could also be a little behind the scenes. I am home again, so I am teaching again, so I will share some of the things I've done with the students. So I don't know what will be the next video, but make sure you'll be there. And when I'm at home, I'm also painting again on canvas. So this is one of the paintings that I've been creating this week. I wanted to share it with you, and well, in the future I will share more paintings with you, of course. And well, I see you next week. Bye bye.